Here we are, Macha. We're here together.
We are. And we've
Yes.
just been laughing a lot, so we may laugh a little bit more.
Why the hell would we not laugh
Yeah.
and curse? Because I will say, like when I met you, I was not laughing. I was crying all the time. And yeah, I was thinking about why I even called you. And this is, you want to laugh again because I thought I needed a chiropractor.
I actually forgot that. I did forget that. I
I
forget the funny things, the less important things, right? Like I totally forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even know like how I came across your website. Only something about body work, I think. And like little did I know it was body and spirit work that we were going to be doing. But I had just come from a 19-month immersion into the underworld, and my mother had died. We had cleaned out our house. I had gone through an entire like shape shift into a different life, and I had landed in Ireland. And I love what you said earlier that like I was meeting Ireland. I had met her for a minute in 2020, and I just ever since I left, I yearned to come back. And then I was back and it was like, what the heck? Like this is not very welcoming. I don't feel very well. I feel like shite actually, and I need some help. And finding you is just such a gift.
Mhm.
This is what I wrote in my journal at the time after everything, that you were a psychopomp that I engaged to bring me back up from the underworld. And I don't think that I could have come up without you. I really don't, because I was so deep into the soul of myself that was in such pain, my ancestral soul, that I didn't see how I was going to come back up. And now we go from laughing to crying. Like, I love it. This is life, right? One of the things that I remember the most is how I was laying on your little massage table and you had your hands on my womb space and you were singing this most beautiful lullaby. And it was like my grandmother was there, my Irish grandmother, and also my English grandmother, because those two bloodlines are so mixed in me. And I didn't understand what that meant really until I came here to Ireland and realized like how much pain is here. And that pain lived in me. And I just didn't even know it. And I think that's why it was so important for me to come here and just be here. And through our time together, I channeled that poem that I read in the woods called This Land. And that's really the essence of what it meant to me to work with you at that time. Because it woke me up. That was the beginning of my awakening to my true soul. Not the not the part of my soul that was holding all of the ancestral pain, all the blood pain, all the womb pain. You're so good at drawing all of those types of pain out and just transfiguring them. To me, that's your high priestess gift, is to transfigure that blood pain. And I'm so grateful, just so grateful that I met you. And I'm grateful that we're here now. And to look back on all that's occurred, and now I live here after a lot of traveling around in Europe. And for a long while, I didn't know how I was going to get back here. And yet here I am. And we have a house here. And I'm settling into just being present with Ireland. meeting her again as my real self, my awakened, shiny soul self that is okay. It's okay. I have all the pain still, and I actually set up my Samhain altar right before we got on with all my pictures of my grandmothers and my mother and my little child self. And she's so adorable. But I can see that pain in all of us still. And I think it's important to remember that. And I also think it's important to remember that we can transfigure that pain. And that to me is the essence of what you're about, is transfiguring pain into beauty. And that's what you do. And you're a genius at it. And I'm really, again, so great. Love you.
Thank you, Daria.
You.
It's so before we were coming on here, and like I really felt like a lot of heart energy, and I'm definitely a person that, as a practitioner or a holder, or like there's no words we can really put on it. In my eyes, there really isn't. There is and there isn't. And it's like when I listen to you, it's like, oh yeah, it's like the other person can explain their me better always. Like that's what I always find. And um and I feel like, it's like when you came to me, it's like you're coming because it's a total trusting and knowing. And I know that you're trusting and knowing. Like I 100% know that because of just working with so many people. It's just that knowing. And I know that that trusting and knowing is the edge
Mm.
of the big change and the configuring of the new. And it's like this, like all the ingredients are going in, and I just feel like, I'm the holder of that. I suppose we call it a container or a cauldron, or
I was just thinking cauldron.
yeah. And it's just like you're trusting the new mystic that's coming forward. And I feel that with you, like, and I know that with you as well. Like you had so much of the knowledge, and it doesn't matter who we are. Like I had someone recently talking to me, it's a very common question, and about like how much healing do we have to do, and I'm like, I have a very blunt answer: it's never ending. Doesn't matter who we are, how much work we've done, because it's the ancestral, right? Like it's just like that never stops. That's like that goes, it's such an infinity line. So, and I always feel like it's for someone to come forward, and which you did, is like, as we are in sound, like stepping into that veil of like that next level, that edge of just like, I don't know, but I need that place. And I think I understand it because I've been in that so much that I'm just like, I'm actually dying. Like when you were sharing that, like, I was in the underworld and, I needed help, and that sentence is like such a real feeling of what people don't get, because from the outside you probably looked fine. Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
To
No,
family
exactly.
and stuff, they were like, oh, she's fine, she's fine. So I'd love
Yeah.
to know like what happened since then, or like how you feel. I feel like you're really in your power. Like I feel like this real like 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 I just want to like have a party for Daria, and I was having a party for Daria like 3 years and all the way since. But I feel like now it's like, oh, it's like there's so much behind you and it's connected. And yeah, like I'd love to explain it from your experience versus my projection or
Yeah.
view.
Well, I was really struck by how you mentioned the heart opening, because okay. So again, when I came to you, I was having a physical pain in my back, which it's funny because I can feel it kind of now, but it's nothing compared to what it was. It was like I couldn't move. It was almost like something was twisted in my spine, just right at the back of my heart. And now my wings are open. That's the best way I can describe it. Is I know we talked a little bit about dragons when we were together, and I was starting to feel like, and like looking back on it, okay, this is what I'm going to say. There was like this little baby dragon egg in my heart, and it was very teeny. It was like this little bitty baby. And it was just starting to kind of be like, hi, I'm here. And I didn't really know what to make of that. So I was just like, oh, okay, little dragon. But now I've embraced my full dragon self. And that's who I am. That's my being. And she's here. You can probably see her, right? So that's that power that you're getting, is I've tapped in to all that my soul is.
Mm. Yeah.
And now, as you said, like the healing is just ongoing, and that's okay. However, I think at a certain point, we move beyond the focus on the pain that needs to be healed, and we change the perspective. We transfigure it into, this is an experience that I am having in this body, and it's all good. Like, it's all for my growth, and it's all for my blessing, really.
Mm.
So suffering and being in pain is like, the human body wants to go, no, I don't want to do that. Like, that hurts. That's uncomfortable. I don't like that. And the soul says, okay, that's great. Like, I get it that you don't want to feel that. However, you're here in this body. I, the soul, am here in this body to have an experience of feeling everything, feeling everything. And putting limits on it just doesn't help anybody.
Mm.
So we're here and we're having these feelings and we're having these experiences that are maybe not super comfortable. But after a while, we we step out of them. So we come out of the underworld with some help, and we go, oh, okay, there's the sun. Right. There's some power that I didn't know that I had, because if I hadn't been down there, I wouldn't have known I could come out. I wouldn't have known I had that strength. And again, having a companion to travel with you, that's one of the gifts of being here on this earth, in a body that we can meet people
Mm.
in. Because otherwise we're just meeting with our souls, and that's great. But
Yeah.
here we can actually differentiate and feel.
Yeah. That's like a really, it's soul work, this is soul work, and not everyone wants to do it, because you have to feel, like you really have to feel, and it's fucking hard to feel, and it's not even hard to feel, it's when you feel you have to change, right? You
Yes,
let go, you have to remove something, you have to do something, and therefore it's work. And it's sometimes easier just to mask or hide or whatever it is. And my throat is going in. We're clearly in the Kylac because
I
I
love it. Both of us are.
I actually have fresh juice that Lucas made for me this morning.
I
Mm.
love
Mm. Um, so yeah, I feel like, you know, with this soul work, I really know you've jumped off the huge cliff, right? And you have entered into this place where you have the dragon power, clearly, right? Clearly.
it.
Um, and so I know you are like in this process of guiding others. You were already in that process of guiding others, and you're stepping in. So like, I'd love to know, there's, I suppose, two things coming to my mind. One is like, those people who are on the outskirts of me, they maybe have never met me, or they do know me, right? And they are like, I don't know, should I go towards this work? What would you say to them? And then the second thing is the business of your life, like relationship, business of your life. That's a good sentence.
I love it.
Business of your life is like your relationship, which I think is a full-time job, right?
That's
And that keeps going, right? Like your immediate relationship and then your family, friends. But it is the other one would be your stepping into your power. So like we have your power, but like, yeah, what is this sense of stepping in? And I also feel like you're a bridge person now because you're American Irish. It's like this real, feet in both lands, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, anything you want to speak into, I think they can weave. Answer as you like. Answer as you like. Yeah.
So, okay, so the first question, I love that because one thing that really just stood out to me on your website when I was first looking at it was that, and I don't know if you still have it on there, but the sentence that basically says, like, if this work is speaking to you, trust that. That's like the message that I received. I don't know if that's what the exact wording was, because here's the thing, like what you do, what I do, what we do, the
Mm.
soul work, the transfiguration work, that's priestess work. And so we're recreating that in the world at this moment in 2024. Being here on this earth at this time, there's no definition. So it's really difficult to say, like, yes, I need what she has because I know what it is. No, you need it because it's calling to your heart. That's the way. If you can't stop thinking about it, if you're a little terrified about it, that's a yes. And the whole thing is about trust. And, that's really just the theme besides patience, which is my, eternal lesson in life. And trust is such a huge piece of everything that we as humans, as Gaians, are called to be at this time in Earth, Sophia Gaia's history. Right at this moment, again, 2024, Samhain, 2024, we're being called to trust, and trust like we've never trusted before, because we literally don't know what's happening. We are literally jumping off a cliff every minute. And what we need to remember is that we have wings. So all of us have wings in some way, shape, or form. Some of us are dragons, some of us are little bees or butterflies, some of us are crows, some of us are dung beetles, some of us are unicorns, and Pegasus is, but we all have that power. Every single one of us has that power. And some of us are eagles, some of us are cockatoos, all different kinds of birds. And I think, what do I want to say? I mean, that's the work in life, right? Like relationships are the work, quote unquote businesses are the work. To me, it's more of a sacred service. And that's another, I always knew that my wedding life is paused for the minute. It may be over, I'm not sure. Um my new sacred service is being a travel companion. What does that mean? I have no idea. I really don't. It's like I'm creating the temple out of my memories. That's what we're all doing. We're recreating the sacred temple of the earth out of our memories. And by the way, memory is faulty. So like we don't really, the brain does not keep a good record of memory. So we're really just kind of making it up. We're back to that. We're back to jumping off the cliff. And that, again, I think it comes down to, if you feel like you need some guidance and companionship, trust that and be okay with it. Like there's no reason to go it alone if you don't have to, because we're here as one. I was reading about wildebeests yesterday, And what a fascinating organism is the wildebeest, because you imagine like these beautiful drone pictures of the wildebeest just like running across the Sahara, but they're all together, right? They're just like this beautiful kind of moving organism. And sometimes a cheetah will leap and get one on the edge, but they keep like the elderly and the young ones in the center. So it's all, but they're all kind of moving in this pattern. And truly that's what humanity is too. And we forgot. We forgot how to trust each other because we practiced a lot of cruelty and a lot of just nastiness. And I really feel like a lot of what a lot of us are here right now to do is clear that, just to clear it out and say, yeah, we did it. Yep, we did it. We did it. We probably did it knowingly. And that's okay because we came here to feel. And now we're feeling it all. And what we need to feel right now is forgiveness for everything that we did to each other. And again, just be okay with coming back in contact with each other and being willing to feel some more. Because, like, I can't say that the time that we had together was uncomfortable because you were asking me to feel things that I didn't necessarily want to feel. I was asking myself to feel things that I didn't necessarily want to feel, but I knew in my heart and my soul that if I was going to live the life I came here to live and not live a dead life, that makes sense. A paradox. I want to live an alive life. And I knew I wanted to wake up, but I didn't know what that meant. But I knew I wanted it. And here I am.
Mm.
Here I am. That's it. Like, that's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing. We just summed it up in 10 minutes. Daria just summed it up in 10 minutes.
I
I
know.
feel like that is it. Like, it's just like, yep, yep, yep. Because it's like that trust thing. Like, as you said, every second, I really feel that. Like, I feel like that's my own personal mantra in moments when I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, remember like what's going on in their world, remember what's needed, remember, because it's huge. Like what's happening now is huge. And I know that for the people I work with, like yourself and
Mhm.
others, it's like, and other people working, like you working with others and others working with others, like we're creating this new web, this new um tapestry that it kind of reminds me. It's funny, we were talking about boat wearing wool, like how like wool has different type of holes,
Yeah.
and then you have other wool like cashmere. I'm thinking of other things that I can't even think my names right now, but like there's different type of like,
Of weave.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, like, and there's sometimes they have more holes and they have different purposes and the different heat concentration and like high and air breathing, and the reason why wool is good like that is because it's so versatile. And I feel like it is similar because like even in this there's like bigger holes and smaller holes, like we don't know, this has its purpose. Like
Yes.
each one of us have our purposes, and then
Yes.
when we're weaving together we've made another purpose, right? And then there's like, okay, another wool that's more of a fine knit that fine knit, exactly, that you'd wear underneath this. And then if you had like a wool heavy jacket, right, like you would be sorted, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's like
I would be sweating.
in a minus 10 degrees you'd be
Hey, 50.
So, like, if you think about it, it's kind of like each one of us are part of a weave, and we don't really know. This is like we can know. I always say that, like, we can know, like, we have that connection, like that we're like, we know, but actually for the bigger thing, like I'm feeling like so much energy down the back of my arms now. Like,
Mhm.
we don't really know.
Yeah.
And we can, tap into the world of channeling and the Akashic records and like all these like layers and layers and layers and layers of knowing or remembering or seeing or visioning or whatever it is, hearing, feeling, smelling, whatever it is. But in the context, there's a knowing of the unknowing. Like, and that's that trust. Like that is why trust is
Yeah.
fucking hard. Like, because
Right.
it's literally terrifying because it's like, I don't know, but I have to trust this. Right?
Right. I don't want to jump off the cliff, but there's a tiger behind me. So, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Like for me, the jump off cliff thing is perfect because I don't really like jumping off things into the unknown in the physical world. So it's
Right.
perfect for the spiritual world as well. Because I'm like, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a cliff diver, you probably wouldn't get this metaphor.
Right. You'd be
Right?
like, sure, that's grand. Just go do it. It'll be fun. No, it will be terrifying. Thanks.
It would be terrifying. Yeah. I feel like there's a real urgency. It's kind of going back to that trust every second thing. And
Hmm.
come back to what you said as well about the connectedness of us, like the
Hmm.
companionship.
Yeah.
And I feel like that one comes up for me when you said it. It was like, oh, this is a really interesting one because when you pay for companionship,
Hmm.
it's like this really fine line
Yeah.
because it's not like you're paying for companionship, but you are paying for companion. You're paying for the support system, which
Right.
is like, because why? Because we've lacked, like back in the day, we would have had a true community, which
Yeah.
is, and that's why we come with this big catalyst. I'm actually checking on time. Um,
Good. We got 8 minutes.
so like that big thing with like people are like, you shouldn't charge for healing or whatever. And it's like, well, we live in a new world now. And it kind of comes back into this like the people that have communities even throughout the world that normally wouldn't have had to pay are
Yeah.
now suffering in places where they have to go out and make money because their community isn't even sustainable enough. Like the whole world has fallen apart, that original places where they had an ecosystem are not working anymore. And we're in this, it's just the fire. We're in the fire.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's just the way that the world is. This is the world that we've built, that we live in right now. There's an exchange system.
Mm,
That's just what it is. And
mm,
yeah, we could romanticize and look back on the days where, like, everyone was in a tribe and each person did their gift, and maybe we'll get there again, but we're not there, we're here. And to me, see, because I struggle with this too as I'm beginning my new venture, it's like, I mean, I don't even know how to charge for what I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, how do I even know? So to me, it almost becomes we have to be brave to have the discussion. And you helped me with this as well. Like, just bringing the idea of discussing the sacred exchange forward and addressing how we feel about money as an energy is it's such an important part of the work
mm,
that I feel like anyone who's having that challenge really needs to, as I can speak for myself, needed to look at the function of money and the exchange in your field. And us as providers need to be able to guide people on that whole trajectory of working through. It is okay. I'm going to say this to anyone listening who doesn't believe this. It is more than okay to give of the energy you've received as money into your field, to give it out in service of your own growth and healing, because we're all here just flowing with each other. And
mm,
this is not something that the energy of money has been constrained so much in our world that doesn't seem normal to us, to let it just flow in and out because we're afraid. Like, we're afraid we don't have enough. We're afraid we'll never have enough. and we're afraid to give something without knowing what we're receiving. It gets back to trust again, the entire thing. And it's a worthiness thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and this is all like, this is everything that I have gone through. I don't know what others are going through really, because we can never know, but
yeah.
just in case anyone is feeling a
And
little like, ugh, like kind of like, eh.
that comes back to, the worthiness thing. Because it is obviously a big piece of my work and it's what I lead people through. And like it's a whole other thing for other conversation. But I feel like in this moment, in this time, in this trust, there's not a feeling, this is a knowing. It's
Yeah.
like we need money to flow through women's hands.
Yes.
Hold our hands. And it's like I have worked in so many businesses in different subculture. I don't know how to describe that, but I do believe it's amazing that the spiritual men's space is also moving, and there's everything, like even from your builder, you need, I believe money needs to flow through the hands of people that are going to do right with money. That
Yeah.
overall, that's my belief system. And I
Yeah.
really take account of where my money goes because of that.
Yes.
And because my belief is if we take the money out of the hands that are abusing it, then abuse would start to change in our world. Like it's a huge simple philosophy.
Yeah.
How many people are really conscious of that, And
It's
um,
just something we're remembering again.
yeah, yeah, it's a big piece. And I feel like that's definitely a deep heart feeling when it comes to I want women to be comfortable, to have what they need,
Yeah.
to be looked after with no offense to the men bodies. Like they don't have to have a man to supply for them, which is really fucking hard in our world.
Well,
Like,
because what kind of pressure does that put on a man anyway? I mean, I know my husband
mhm,
has had challenges around that idea in the past.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
and this is going back to patriarchy. And I all like this is so
Yeah.
like we need to have the whole other conversation now because my brain is like, oh my God, we need to talk about this. And it's just like a big piece that I have a prayer that men can maybe sit back and not feel the pressure, but have a purpose, and women can feel security,
Yeah.
independency, and with love. Like it somehow feels
Yeah.
like with love, like the energy of love, and just being able to yeah, be in their riches, and that doesn't even mean to the physical form money, but it's just like,
The
yeah.
word generosity has been just really present with me and thinking about, and it's a
Mhm.
spectrum of prosperity and generosity are partners, right? So when you're feeling prosperous, you can be generous. And when you're being generous, then prosperity flows. And as you were just saying, like freeing money from the constraints that it's been under, whether it's from corporations or from greed or from fear or from false protection, who knows what, there's a million things we could think of
Yeah,
that money has been, held tightly. We just need to open our hands. That's all.
yeah.
And just let it and just hold it. Just hold it lightly.
I'm like, this just turned into a masterclass. So
I know we are genius teachers. That's true.
it's also very hard for me to just to stay within the bounds of focusing on this being a thing because it's like I want to give more. It's like it's already
Yeah.
I want to give
No,
more.
exactly. Well, but
Share
like
more, yeah.
that's what you're saying about, sorry to, I mean, not that men are not generous. That's absolutely not what I'm saying, but
Yes.
there's a different kind of giving in the heart of a non-hurt woman, that it's just different. We are wired, this is part of the beauty of Gaia, the way that she is right now with the duality, is we have this female energy and this male energy, and just we're picking up the threads, to use your weaving example, picking up the threads of the female energy, and just we're pouring that love over the world again in all of its forms. And this is what we're doing, and we can wrap it up here just like this. Like, this is what Matcha is doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what all of us priestesses, Magdalene women, just what we're doing. We're serving love. That's it. Like, we've got our cups and we're just serving it. And we're not trying to hold it, but we're receiving so deliciously, all of us, because we're all together. We're all together.
Mm.
Oh, and I truly believe that when we connect with another soul who is calling to our soul, we all win. And so just say yes, just trust. Trust that whatever is coming in your connection is the exact right thing for your soul. Be blessed.
Be blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Daria.
Ooh,
I'm going to stop our recording. Thank you for everyone that's listened or will listen.
Pleasure.
Hush, hush.
Love you all.